We used to just paste the whole repo in and hope. Here is the thing nobody says out loud about chat. A conversation is a straight line. Every answer becomes the input to the next question, and the only memory the whole system has is the transcript. That transcript is a fixed size buffer. It does not grow because your job got bigger. 40 surveys at roughly 8,000 tokens, each is 320,000 tokens of reading before it has written a single line. So by service 11, service 3 is gone. So make the first cut. Upgrading service 7 does not depend on anything that happened in service 6. There are 40 independent jobs wearing a trench coat. Give each one its own agent, its own context window, its own branch. The wall clock stops being the sum of 40 jobs and becomes the length of the slowest one. That is not a prompting trick, that is a map. And every one of those agents starts clean, which is the part that actually buys you the quality. Now you need one changelog covering all 40, and that step cannot start until every job is done. That is a barrier. A barrier does not cost you the average job. It costs you the worst one. 39 agents finish in 2 minutes and sit there while the 14th one takes 9. So only put a barrier where you genuinely need everything at once. If the next step only needs one job's output, let the job run straight through it. Item A can be in stage 3 while item B is still in stage 1. That is a pipeline. And around here you should be getting a feeling. Jobs, dependencies between them, fan out, join, retry, resume. You have seen this before. Airflow has been scheduling exactly this shape since 2015. Step functions gave you map and parallel states in 2016. Temporal has been checkpointing long-running workflows for years. Graph engineering is a directorate. Acyclic graph, we do not invent a new discipline. We point in an old one at a language model. But that is also where the borrowed wisdom runs out. Every scheduler ever written assumes 4 things about a job. That it is deterministic, same input, same output every time. That retrying it is safe because a retry does the same thing. That success is an exit code you can trust. And that what a job costs you is the time. An agent breaks all 4. It is not deterministic. A retry is a different attempt, not the same one. It will hand you exit code 0 and confidently wrong def, and it bills you. Which means the most valuable node in your graph is the one that checks. The model that wrote the diff cannot be the model that approves it. It is the same failure as asking someone to write their own performance review. So spawn a separate agent whose only job is to try to break it. And here's the part people get wrong. 3 copies of the same skeptic is not 3 checks. It is 1 check you paid for 3 times. If you want 3, give each one a different lens. Correctness, security, does it actually run? Identical reviewers fail in the identical ways. That is the whole problem. Now, the single highest leverage thing on the whole list. Make every node write its own output to a file. The planner writes plan.markdown. Each worker writes its own service file. The reviewer writes review.markdown. That is not tidiness. That is a checkpoint. When node 31 falls over, you do not start again from the top. You rerun node 31 and you get a paper trail, so when the def is wrong, you can see which step decided that. A chat gives you none of this. There is exactly one place a human belongs in this graph. Not reviewing everything, you will stop doing that by Thursday. Put the gate whenever the next step cannot be undone. Opening the pull request is free, merging it to the main is not. Drafting the email is free, sending it to 11,000 customers is not. Everything upstream of that line can be unattended all night. and you spend your attention on the one decision that is actually expensive to get wrong. One warning, because this is where it goes wrong. More agents is not better. 5 agents can agree with each other loudly and still all be wrong in the same direction. They read the same code and they share the same blind spot. You did not get 5 opinions, you got 1 opinion with a quorum. And past a certain size, the graph spends more time passing states around than doing the work. So the goal is never the biggest graph, it is the smallest graph that improves the output. If you like this kind of things pulled apart properly, this is what the channel is. So do like and subscribe. So go back to 40 services and draw it. 1 planner, 40 workers in parallel, each on its own branch. 3 reviewers on every div that touches anything shared. 1 merge step that writes the change log. And you at the end approving. 9 nodes, you can draw the whole thing on a napkin. It finishes in the time of the slowest service instead of the sum of all of them. And when one service fails, you rerun 1 node, not the entire evening. The people getting the most out of these tools are not writing better prompts. They are deciding what runs in parallel, what has to wait, and what gets checked. That is not prompt engineering, that is scheduling. Go and draw yours.